this is the space we come together to celebrate one another, and literally walk in the same direction in pursuit of a shared vision for a better future. I want to actually tell you just for a minute about my dearest friend, Franco. His name was Franco Beneduce. He lived in Providence, Rhode Island. He and I were best friends, and he was HIV positive. He was, we always loved this. He was what's called in HIV science an elite controller. He actually had managed to contain the virus in his body with less intervention. We loved knowing that he was an elite controller, because that's exactly what he was in many respects. And he got these great T-shirts for all of the volunteers that simply said, "Obey me." He did not die of HIV. He lived with it. He lived with it for 18 years. And he lived with it for 18 years because of the work that we've all been doing together since day one. So this is the place where people come together fiercely and incredibly impactfully to fight for what's right.
This is a cause that's very, very close to my heart. Sadly, Dad ended up passing away in January of 1985, right before my birthday, actually. So, yeah, the teenage years were very interesting and difficult. And, you know, my brothers and I would always say, "Oh, Dad died of pneumonia." That was the excuse. It suddenly tumbled out that my dad passed away from AIDS. And I was thinking about doing the AIDS walk. And the amount of support that I got from my coworkers was just mind-blowing. It made me think, okay, I can do this. I can start telling the story. And that first AIDS walk was wonderful, because I met another woman whose father had passed away. And I was like, oh my goodness, there's somebody like me. I am very proud that I can represent me. I can represent my family. I can represent the sparkly memory of my father, and I can help others.
We'd come off the 70s, where we had been experiencing freedom, the sexual revolution, freedom from the oppression of the conservative 50s. Nobody wanted the music to stop. AIDS was a San Francisco thing. AIDS was a New York thing. We don't have to worry about that. Then it was a Boston thing. And then we knew somebody. AIDS Action and the walk in particular became a safe haven for people. And that community is what gave us the sense of safety, because the world was very hostile. The early people who were afflicted with the AIDS virus and HIV were gay men and IV drug users, many of whom were Black. Segments of society that some people just didn't care about. From the very first walk, Larry Kessler said something amazing. He said, "Until no one has AIDS, we all have AIDS." This is not about Black and white people. This is not about gay and straight people. This is about humanity.
We can come out of dark times together. We truly walked ourselves out of darkness, and I really trust we will do it again. And I'm going to take us back to another very dark time, which was in 1986 when we started this. We had named this event From All Walks of Life because we wanted to make that political statement that this wasn't just about the LGBTQ plus community. This was a disease that was going to affect people from all walks of life, and everyone needed to listen. We have come through difficult times before. We can use the strength of our community to come through this terrible time we find ourselves in again. I love the city of Boston, and I love what we did together against all odds.
We're all human beings that connect on stories, and I encourage all of you to share your own story about why you're going to be walking this year. But I want to invite you all to reflect on why it is that you walk, why you've been a part of this movement, and spread the word.